Member for Bruce-Grey-Owen Sound.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Unfortunately, I'm disappointed to be rising again today to really ask about the same question I brought up in the House a month ago. And it's all about the Canada Emergency Business Account and the failure for the government to resolve the issue to allow businesses to apply for the increase in the account. So I rose at the beginning of May to raise this issue and to ask a simple question: when will this be resolved? It's now been nearly a month, and there's been still no movement or clarification on when resolution will occur. As I stated previously, after the announced CEBA expansion in December of last year, many Canadians applied for the expanded business loan. Many were denied as records held by the CRA did not match their applications. However, there is no method for Canadian businesses to update their submissions. In January, the government promised to fix this. Yet here we are nearly 6 months later without a solution, leaving businesses to wait for the government to take action. When I asked earlier this month, the response I got back from the parliamentary secretary was, financial institutions will be reaching out directly to businesses that have applied for and have not yet received the expansions that are requested, and we will be providing clarifying information through our banks. To date, my constituents have not been able to update their submissions. One constituent has even provided us monthly updates to let us know each month by month that there has been no process put in place for nearly 6 months, demonstrating consistent proof of inaction. The updates the constituents have received from the bank say the following: the Government of Canada has not yet finalized the remediation process for applicants to submit corrected or additional information in connection with their CEBA expansion enrollment request. According to the CEBA website, the CEBA program continues to actively work with more than 230 financial institutions to finalize these processes that will allow select $20,000 expansion applicants that were previously informed to submit additional information. I will give some positive news, Mr. Speaker. I have one local business that did finally get clarification and were able to update their application just this past week. Know what the problem was that they were waiting for 5 months, Mr. Speaker, for? The postal code was wrong in the application. 5 months to fix a very simple clerical error in an application. Another local business, Fox Salon and Spa, are having to go into their personal savings in order to keep the business operating. They've had no income now for 10 months, and here they are hanging on by this, their last threads and taking every last saving they have to try to keep their business afloat while they're waiting for that $20,000. So I got a couple simple questions for the government. Of the 230 institutions, financial institutions, how many has the government yet to finalize a process for amending the applications? How many businesses have been able to amend their applications since December in order to receive the expanded loan? How many businesses are still waiting in limbo because the government has not prioritized ensuring businesses can access this vital lifeline? And will the government provide the data and show that they have movement on resolving this issue? Bottom line, Mr. Speaker, the same question I asked a month ago: will the government commit to a date when they'll have this problem resolved? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Small Business and Export Promotion.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président, et j'aimerais aussi remercier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to thank my colleague for this question. As he knows, as everyone in this House knows, we are here as a federal government, and we have been since the beginning of the pandemic. Our priority has always been to support our small businesses and workers. We know that small businesses continue to have difficulty making ends meet because of the pandemic. To date, just to give an update, nearly 900,000 businesses have been supported by CEBA, the Canada Emergency Business Account, and nearly 450,000 entrepreneurs have received loans. I understand, however, my colleagues' concerns. Financial institutions will communicate directly with businesses that have requested these sums but have not received them yet. And we will continue to work with these financial institutions. We know that small businesses are still facing problems, as the member raised. But I am glad to say that some problems have been resolved.
And certainly, let me just say on the record that I also have entrepreneurs and small businesses in my riding that are also waiting for this clarifying information. I am very pleased to hear from my Conservative colleague that there have been a few of the entrepreneurs in his riding that have managed to resolve the situation. As he mentioned, one that there was a problem in the application, a mistake perhaps in the address or postal code of the business. And now that that problem has been resolved, they have received the additional $20,000 in financing that came, as everyone will remember, in the fall with the second wave, in order to provide a top up to entrepreneurs for this important CEBA program. I would say, Mr. Speaker, that the banks will be contacting entrepreneurs, yes, for this small glitch in the CEBA application process where there is an issue with the application. But I would also remind this House that there are numerous other programs that our federal government put into place in order to support small businesses. For example, over a year ago, we put in place the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund, which has been of an invaluable assistance to small businesses. Thus far, we're talking about 141,000 jobs across Canada supported by this particular program. Over 23,000 businesses have been supported by the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund. And let me also mention the rent subsidy program and lockdown support, which have been providing subsidies for commercial rents across the country. Mr. Speaker, over 180,000 organizations have been supported by that subsidy. And of course, there's the emergency wage subsidy, which has been central to our government's response to COVID-19. The wage subsidy continues to help employers of all sizes in all industries affected by the pandemic. And as many people, across Canada and particularly in this House know, Bill C-30, which is our budget implementation Act, currently before the House, proposes to extend both the rent and the wage subsidies in order to continue to support entrepreneurs. I hope that all members of this House will support Bill C-30 as it does provide critical support to our entrepreneurs. Monsieur le Président, pour terminer.
Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, our government will continue to work to ensure that the Canadian economy emerges from this pandemic more robust, inclusive, and sustainable than ever before. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Bruce-Grey-Owen Sound.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Through you to the Parliamentary Secretary, I'll remind her that, again, the same quote I gave before, that from the financial institutions, that, quote, the Government of Canada has not yet finalized the remediation process for applicants to submit corrected or additional information in connection with their CEBA expansion enrollment request. So on behalf of my constituents, on behalf of all Canadian small entrepreneurs and businesses, including the ones in the Parliamentary Secretary's riding, as she just acknowledged, that are having trouble accessing the same loan, when will the government commit to resolving this process and helping out these small businesses? Is it going to wait till the fourth wave, the fifth wave? We want it resolved now, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and absolutely, I hear my colleague, I hear our entrepreneurs. This is a priority for me. This is a priority for our government, and I will continue to work both with the Minister of Small Business and the Minister of Finance to ensure that we do find a solution to this issue as quickly as possible. And no, it will not wait for further waves. I hope that there will not be any further waves. I hope that we are at the beginning of the end of this pandemic, Mr. Speaker, and our entrepreneurs are excited to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.